Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Dylan Bennis and today we're playing Stellaris. This is going to be part 2 of a series. Last time we kind of went over some user interface, basic planetary functions, a little bit of strategy. We talked about technology roots, unity influence. I think that's primarily it. We might have talked about a couple other things, but today we're going to try to dive in a little bit more to, I would say, not really mid-game, but past the initial setup of your Stellaris game. No, not multiplayer. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's see, the United Nations of Earth, that is us. Earthlings. Okay. So let me zoom out. Yeah, so this is the same one that we were playing before. Cool, I'm not playing the wrong video. So we are right here. We got some scientists going out and about, and I think I explained to you guys how this, blue line compared to one of these gray lines means that we are now able to move to these systems because they've been explored by scientists. So let's go ahead and open up our first traditions, and like I said, I like to start off with Discovery. I think Discovery is the best way to really get a good head start in the game. By adopting this right off the bat, we get a 20% additional chance for discovering anomalies. So that's huge in the game because we haven't really discovered that many anomalies yet, or that many systems that have anomalies. So we really want to make sure that we get as many as possible because it's just going to add more resources such as minerals. It's going to add more resources such as credits, and who knows, maybe even we'll get some crazy technologies, which is definitely something that we run into throughout the game. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that. And let's go ahead and let this play through. And so if you look here, I kind of have a decision to make. Would I rather take over this, or not take over, but build an outpost that would allow me to build mining stations inside of this section, or would I rather build one over here? So right now it's kind of looking like this one because it has a planet, but we don't know if that planet is habitable yet. So oh, but you look at that. The UNS Pioneer has made a startling find on Ancaster B Illa. The moon is teeming with alien life. For the first time in history, we have encountered life forms that did not originate on Earth. This amazing discovery has silenced those who believe we were alone in the universe. Although none of the alien creatures found on Ancaster B Illa are sapient, it is likely only a matter of time before we encounter beings that are. We may not be alone. Cool. So this is looking like a really promising planet to go ahead and take over. So if you look here, planet summary.
System survey complete.
Okay, so let's say for example, let me turn on the volume a little bit. You wanted to see, a little bit more detail. So you're going to double click, and you can double click or just single click. Go to planet summary. Oh, I already am on summary. Oh, I didn't read that. Should have read it for you guys. Sorry. You can push pause if you want to read that. So the habitability is 75%. So basically what that means is if your habitability of a planet is less than 40%, you are not able to colonize that planet because obviously it's not habitable. But later in the game, you do have the option to go ahead and terraform and all that kind of stuff, so that way you can make it a habitable planet. But since this one is at 75%, we can go ahead and go there. And by having a higher habitability rate, your happiness on that planet for your colonizers is going to be greatly improved. Compared to if you go there, if it's like 40%, people are going to be like, I can't even breathe. Like, what am I doing here? So, Habitable Worlds Survey. We know now, without a doubt, that a thriving biosphere is not something unique to Earth, but the scientific community and the public at large are eager to learn more about the various forms of alien life found throughout the galaxy. Efforts to catalog the life forms we encountered are already underway, but our xenobiologists have urged us to focus our planetary survey efforts on habitable life-bearing worlds. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say that's a commendable initiative.
Situation log updated.
So the situation log, let's go to that real quick, is right here. It's kind of blocked by me, but it's right here on your guys' screen. And basically what that does is it gives you little kind of like objectives that you try to do while you're, building your empire. And some of them are really important, some of them aren't. So like this one, for example, the miner mandate. So if we build 4 mining stations, we're going to get an additional quote unquote 50 to 1,000 unity. I have never seen 1,000 unity pop up before. So like I said in the first video, research time is in the red. Probably going to leave that for another time. And then the habitable world survey. So basically, as we find more and more worlds that are habitable, this will fill up, and then once it's full, we'll get like some type of bonus or research or something like that. Okay, so it's a tough decision, guys. So, I was in the middle of that. So 13 means that's how many tiles are available. So you can set your colony ship to land on any open tile. But whatever tile it lands on, it's gonna probably take away this, unless it's no, it's electricity. If you land on electricity, I don't think it affects it. But any tile that's to the side or up above or down below, that is either food, credits, or minerals, will also receive an additional bonus. So I try to plan it as best I can to make it so they land closer to like food and minerals and credit spots rather than next to a physics research or what are the other ones? Biology, I believe. Society and engineering. So you can kind of make your own strategy when it comes to that. It's not the end of the world if you put a colony ship right here and it happens to not have a bonus here, but I try to, do the best I can. So also you can see that this is lush. So we get an extra 10% habitability and an additional 20% food. So food is going to be fantastic on this planet. There's a lot of gravity though. So buildings are going to be expensive, and habitability also takes a -5. So total, we get an additional 5% habitability plus the 75. We're at 80%. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's kind of just like a description of what it's like. Honestly, I don't think it has any effect, really. So, let's zoom out. So we got 2 scientists kind of cruising around the galaxy. And then there's another planet over here. Hopefully the scientists will make that discoverable in just a little bit, and we'll see if it's green or not. And depending on whether or not that's green, we can decide to move this way or we can decide to move this way. I'm going to wait just a little bit just because I want to see if we have any neighbors close by before I start moving my forces towards that direction. Or my territory, I should say. So I'm going to turn the speed just a little bit so we're not sitting here watching me twiddle my thumbs. So let's check out research. So as you can see, these research bars are filling up quite nicely. Got 10 months to go before we get another mineral network, which is going to be huge for producing more minerals, which is essential to the beginning of the game. You really want high mineral and high technology right from the start. It's going to help you build faster and learn faster. Oh, look at that. Another habitable or another potential habitable planet. And this one has 24 tile space. Wow, would you look at that. Another habitable planet. It's got 2 research points next to it. So let's talk about this real quick. If I colonize this planet, I'm going to lose that potential technology research platform. So you have to decide, is this planet worth it to get or to lose out on these 2? Or is it like, a yellow planet or a yellow habitability? It's like 50%. It's got like 4 tiles on it. Is it worth colonizing if you have like, a little bit of this right here? Maybe not. I don't know. It's up to you. You have to decide your own strategy. But I don't think it's worth it. Honestly, if it's less than 10 tiles, I don't really mess with it unless like I'm later off in the game. Okay, we have recovered artifacts from an ancient alien civilization on Reprix Ilia. From what we have translated so far, their language, we have learned that these aliens call themselves the Irasian Concordat. That's a tough name. They were an interstellar power that held sway over this region of the galaxy a little over 1 million years ago. They appear to have been 6-limbed mammalians, and there are several references to some sort of plague called the Javorian Pox, which swept across their empire with devastating results, possibly leading to their extinction. So this is going to create another situation log.
Situation log updated.
What I say. And you're going to go in here. And so let's say, for example, you got your, precursors. We're just going to be kind of going around looking for, artifacts. And they'll pop up in anomalies. So, or not anomalies, sorry. They'll pop up as research events. Contact report. Intelligent life taunts with pointed absence. Reads a popular Newsnet post on Earth. The people of the United Nations of Earth are apparently finding some humor in the fact that lower forms of alien life are now a matter of public record, but potential equals from other stars continue to elude us. Science officer Robert LaRoux's report on the traces found on Reprix Illa seemingly only add an iconic twist to the situation. Remarkable. Okay. So I think what I'm gonna do is try to move this way. Or should I just take that planet? Oof. So the only thing about taking new...
Anomaly found.
Oh, impressive new structures. Yeah, see, it's still red, so in my opinion, not really worth the research time. It would be for now. I'd rather be exploring the unknown, and then I'll come back once I've, discovered this entire region of the universe, and then I'll come and look at all these little, anomalies everywhere. At least that's my strategy. You can do whatever you want, but... Oh, so what I was saying, by building outposts and taking planets for colonization, you actually create a how do I explain this?
Complete.
Oh, that's convenient. So hold on for 1 second. You create a negative effect on technology. So I know that sounds kind of like random and strange. Why would having more like region and influence and territory and planets create a strain on technology? I'm not 100% sure why this is. I'm assuming because everyone's so spread out, maybe it takes a while for research to get from one place to the next. I don't know. But it does slow down your research percentages. And once I start building out more and start colonizing planets, I'll show you guys, and you can see, each one has a negative effect percentage. And I'm pretty sure that the colonization of planets creates I think 10%, which is a lot. So when you're first starting off, I try to kind of, unless I find a planet that has, some really, really good potential for, a lot of tile space, high habitability, I won't necessarily colonize it right away, because I'd rather get that research going, because you're going to find researches such as AI and stuff, and that's going to increase your research speed as a passive thing, and you really want to get those right off the bat, because that's just going to increase your entire timeline of research, and also it's going to allow you to get other research out of the way too. So I'd recommend maybe waiting just a little bit before you start colonizing and expanding all your borders. Now don't get me wrong, expanding your borders does create choke points, but it doesn't really necessarily benefit you to do that until you know where those choke points are. So for example, let's say that there's an enemy empire just chilling right over here somewhere. which is probably not the case, but it could be. You never know. You know, would I want to build this way when there's an enemy right here, or would I rather build this way and try to choke him off right here, so that way, you know, let's say he was down here, he can't move his territory up into my area over here. Because if I create a choke point right here, oh, I can't click it because I haven't discovered it yet, then I can build a star base right here, I can put a little bit of a fleet, and anytime that they come around here, they're not going to be able to pass. I'm going to be like, hey man, back off. And if we go to war, then I have a strategic location to where all their forces have to come to find me. And I can just stockpile all of my fleet and defensive units in one section rather than having them spread out amongst like 2 or 3 spots. So, word of the wise, wait until you find your closest neighbor. And you know, if they're a friendly neighbor and they're xenophile, which means they like aliens, I guess, then you know you don't have to worry about creating a choke point so much. But if they're very xenophobe and they don't like other aliens, then you're gonna want to build towards them to create that choke point, because they're gonna build towards you with the same idea. So try to strategically build your outposts, because one, it costs resources, and resources are huge in the beginning of the game, but it also slows down your research. Anyway, let's get on with this. So, don't need this right now. Having stronger metal materials would be nice, or mineral processing plant. So by having this, I get an extra 10% minerals from the entire planet. And then also this, I get a nebula refinery, but I don't see a nebula anywhere near me. So, well, there is actually one down here, Dark Hope Nebula, but it's kind of like I'd have to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's like 6 jumps away, so it's not that close yet. We'll get that later. So I think for now, having better metal would be good, because once we have our fleet and the pirates start attacking and we go to war, having a stronger armor is going to be clutch. And it's also a really short, you know, time compared to like one of these. So we're going to go with a metal. And we're off. Oh, there we go. Okay. We're getting there. Okay, so you see all these, you know, markers right here? Obviously, if you stroll over them, you can see, but this planet has abilities that can be upgraded. This planet has clearable blockers that are hindering growth, and this planet has pops that lack buildings to work on. So, you're going to go to surface. Let's pause real quick because I've been blowing it. You can see here that this is an upgradable building, and by doing so, it'll produce more minerals. So, we're going to go ahead and upgrade that as well as that. Now, this person is basically doing nothing right now because there's nothing in the background. I'm getting like these 2 little bits, but you know, I have to decide, do I want more minerals or food? And I think as of right now, we're gonna go with minerals, because that is huge in this beginning of the game. Also, having an auto Kothian monument is gonna be really important. I don't really have the space for it right now, but I will build one on every planet, because having this 2% unity is great, and you can upgrade these buildings later on once you research them. So, for now, we're going to be building a mining network. So by doing so, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the first map, or the first playthrough, but when I build something that collects a resource that's different from like food, you're going to lose this bonus of 1 food, but you keep the bonus of 1 mineral. So for example, this produces 2 minerals per mining network. So these 2 are going to add to this 1, so we get 3. If I build, you know, a hydroponics farm, I get 2 food plus this 1, so I get 3, but I lose the mineral. So it's important to go ahead and make sure that you're, you know, building things on the tiles that already have, you know, the previous, or I'm not sure what the word is for it, but they already start off with a natural resource, I guess. So I'm going to stick with mineral because we need minerals right off the back. So mining network, it's going in. And then once he's done, we'll go ahead and build a food network. Now, we can go ahead and clear some of these sprawling slums, and different planets are called different things. And this one's like a industrial wasteland or something like that. So we can clear that and make it so it's an actual usable feature. So I'm not going to do it yet because it costs 100. Well, you know what, I will. But so that way when he's done populating, he can go right to the number 2. We'll build a hydroponics farm on top and we'll have 4 food right off the back. So I think that that is actually a terrific idea. So, continue. So as you can see, we're getting there as far as researching our surroundings. Our scientist has leveled up, which is fantastic, guys. Was it him? Yeah. So now, when he finds anomalies that are higher levels, it won't be as difficult for him to research them. It depends on the level of the anomaly, but, you know, now that he's level 2, he stands a much better chance of finishing stuff much quicker. So, we'll let him keep doing his thing. Hopefully this is going to turn out to be another good planet, because then I can just kind of swoop over here and take these 2 planets right off the back. Or systems. I think they're considered systems. Yeah, they're systems. Even though it's a planet. I don't know. That's just the way it is. So unfortunately this one is not habitable. But there is research that we can go ahead and do to make this a habitable planet. Planetary summary. So you see 30% habitability, has 24 tiles, which is fantastic. That is beautiful. And you see how these are red in the background? That means that we don't have the technology to clear these little barriers, like this quicksand basin and an active volcano. How you clear an active volcano, I don't know. But in the game, you can. So it's awesome. So we probably won't be going this way. As much as I like having, you know, the possibility of that, we will probably move this way, because I can take 1, 2, 3, and then nobody will be able to capture these 2 planets until I decide to capture them, or unless we go to war and, you know, someone attacks them over here and they take over my outpost. But that's way later in the game, so don't worry about it. So we're just kind of cruising right now. See, in the beginning of the game, it's kind of slow. You know, you're kind of like, what's going on outside? I don't know. Let me poke my head around a little bit. Oh, I just stumbled into an alien nest. And next thing you know, you're at war. So try not to do that. Try to be careful about where you're, you know, looking around and poking your head in. So all my scientists in here have leveled up, which means I get an additional research progress. So he gets 14, he gets 14, she gets 9. I think that's a she. Looks like a she. So they went up like 2%. So 2% faster research speed. I'm okay with that. Oh wow, this one has 2 systems. Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. If you have 2 or 3 or 4 planets that you can colonize in this one system, then that only counts as 1 colonized system, even though you might have 2 or 3 or 4 planets all in that system. So if you have a chance to colonize, or excuse me, capture a system that is capable of hosting multiple planets, I highly recommend you get that, because it's gonna make it so you don't have to have the burden of having additional colonized systems that go over your base allowance. Later on, you will be able to unlock more and more systems, and you can also make sectors, and we'll get into all that kind of stuff probably later on in the game. But just so you know, when you're starting off, if you happen to run into one that has multiple, pay attention. Maybe try to work your way down there as quick as possible and just build an outpost. You don't necessarily have to, you know, colonize both the planets right off the back, but maybe hold on to it, because later in the game, that's going to be pretty helpful. So we got more Unity. We're going to go ahead and do the survey speed by 35%. So now, our survey ships are going to be flying around. Look at this, watch. Watch this, boom, boom, 46, 50, 54, 58. It's just cruising through it now. Yeah, see, already done. So, it's basically a third faster, which is fantastic. So we got more research done. Cool. So if you don't always have to click on this if you have a new research, I've just kind of gotten in the habit of doing it. So click new research and I'll just take you there anyway. So,
Anomaly found.
wow, a very hard anomaly. So obviously this is a waste of our time. Leave it be until you're ready for it. So we don't really have to worry about an invasive army coming in anytime soon. We'll wait on that. Heritage Site is actually quite nice for Unity. But I think that right off the back we're going to go with the monthly Unity, just automatic +2. And it gives us more edicts. And as you can see here, it creates more administrative paths for us. So we're going to go with that one. It's also a lot shorter. So it's only going to take 39 months. Which kind of sounds like a long time to me, but whatever. Okay, so check this out, guys. One of the planets is habitable. 90%. That is fantastic. It only has 15 tiles, so it's not great, but it will do. So hopefully this one will also be green. I'll even take a yellow, and that'll really help us out because we already have 1, 2, 3 planets all really close to our home planet that we can start to colonize, and that's just gonna accelerate the speed at which we get things moving along. So I'm gonna upgrade this mining network so that way I can get this to +4. And then you'll see here, I'm now producing 19 minerals per month. So, not a ton. Eventually we'll get it close to 100, maybe 150. I feel like after that, it might be kind of, you know, a little bit too high. You could probably focus more on research. But it's always up to you. If you're at war, it always helps to have more minerals because you can just pump out an army literally in no time at all. So, let's go to our Sol Station. So, let's talk about this real quick. Our starport has modules, and as we upgrade the, I guess, size and capabilities of our outposts, it's going to increase to like star holds and star bases and all that kind of stuff. So this one, for example, is a routine difficulty. I think that this one might be worth it, so let's go ahead and do it. It won't take that long. It's not red, it's yellow. If it was green, I'd be stoked, but what can you do? So this one, this starport, when we build a starport, it doesn't automatically come with a shipyard to build, you know, war-bearing vessels. So you have to build that, and I would recommend building that not necessarily on every starhold, or I guess shipyard, or I guess outpost space. I'm gonna call it a space base. That's cool, space base. Sounds like a DJ. So I would recommend building them closer towards, you know, the center, so that way you build in the center and can send your fleets out in any direction. And then also you can build an additional shipyard, so you can build 2 ships at the same time, which is great when you're at war. An anchorage provides us a +4 naval capacity, so don't really need that right now. We have different gun batteries and missile batteries, great for defense. Again, don't need right now. And then trading hub. Thank you. We have additional 4 energy. So, oh wow, look at that. Another one, also in the yellow, so it's not that bad. Oh wow, glancing hit. While approaching Alpha Centauri, the UNS Pioneer suddenly received a glancing hit by several passing mass driver rounds. The projectiles were billions of years old, and based on the trajectory, they appeared to be stray rounds fired from a neighboring galaxy. After missing their intended target, they continued on their journey for untold millennia, until today. The rounds we have recovered are of an advanced design despite their incredible age. So we're going to get 60 engineering points for that. That's awesome. So we're going to have you research that because it's also, you know, not red. So I think we should build a trading hub, get our credits building up. And yeah, we're just cruising right along. So I think we're going to have you just really quickly survey that system and then survey that system. Okay, so he's going to do that. And then I'll have him grab that. Or I might leave that for now. I don't know. I'll probably actually look at it real quick. So, let's see. This is probably about the time that pirates are going to start to come into play. So I am going to start to build a little bit of, no, not a crazy fleet, but enough to defend myself. So if you click on your fleet, you can see here we have corvettes, and they have like their little, you know, names and stuff like that. You can look at their specs, like what their armaments are, which is like their weapons, what type of shields and nano composite armors they have. How much damage per, like, a second, I think. I'm not really sure if that's per second. Maybe that's per shot. You can see their rank. If they've been to combat more than once, then they're probably going to see that go up a bit. And you can actually go ahead. I'll actually probably do a whole video on customization. Under the new update, or the update that I'm playing on right now, they have auto update, which I use right off the back. But once I get later in the game, then I start to customize my weapons based off what I want them to do and what my enemies' defenses are. So we can assign a like a general or an admiral, excuse me, for our naval fleet. And we can have multiple fleets and multiple admirals, and eventually you will have like a bunch of them, but they cost heroes and they cost energy to buy. So I would recommend waiting until you need a admiral before you go and just start buying admirals. Now if you click on your Sol station and you go down to shipyard, we can build more corvettes. Imagine that. So let's go ahead and build one. So we got one in production just in case pirates do start to pop out. Takes about 60 days, so 2 months, and then we'll let him kind of pop out, and he will automatically go to the first fleet. So the first fleet is right here. That is our fleet. We have 3 corvettes. Not a lot. Tower asteroid. For some reason, someone has towed an asteroid into a stable orbit around Wallamaro. The massive engine sections and braking thrusters can still be found on the surface, although they have long since been rendered inoperable. Whoever did this also mined the asteroid for minerals, but these operations were seemingly abandoned shortly after they began. So now, because we did that, we have a +3 engineering that we can, build a research station on. So that's fantastic.
Construction complete.
Okay, so that is my 30-minute timer. I think we're going to go ahead and call it. So Soul Star Base is finished. Okay, so let's look at the fleet real quick before we go. If you double click it, there we go. It'll take us there. And now, as you see, we have 4 corvettes. Beautiful. And right here you can see their military power. So that doesn't necessarily mean their damage, I don't think. That's just kind of like if you compare like, another fleet to yours and that you see them have like 200 and you have 148, you probably don't want to mess with them. They have more fleet power. But also, this increases as your technology increases and your size of ships. So once we get like destroyers and cruisers and battleships and all kinds of stuff, it's going to increase your ability to take on larger and larger military power fleets. So in this video, basically, we just kind of talked a little bit about, like building up a little bit of fleet, some strategy as far as trying to like maximize your research without giving it up for, taking over outposts and building bases, and also creating chokeholds or choke points. Sorry, chokeholds. And yeah, we got some Unity done. We got, a 35% boost to our survey speed, which is going to make surveying all of the surrounding area much faster and much more effective. So yeah, that's where we're going to cut it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Dylan Bennis, and if you liked the video, give it a like. If you want to see more or you have questions, comment down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. I try to answer as quick as possible. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. Have a good one.